Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative, and today I just saw Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It was amazing. It was incredibly good. There have been a string of Part 1 movies, and Part 1s can be just like, if you know that you're going into a Part 1 of a two-parter or a three-parter, if anything, in the past, it's like, you feel like you're going to be set up for failure. You're going to be set up for like not a complete, cohesive story where it's just going to be like trails, like things won't feel complete. I think one of the first like two-parter movies was one of those Pirates of the Caribbean movies, or two-parter movies that didn't feel right, was Pirates of the Caribbean. One of those ones where the first one was its own movie, and the second one was definitely part one of a two-part movie. And you could feel like, oh, they're just leaving things intentionally untied so that you feel the need to come back for the second one. And it was like, this just kind of like, it's like a big fun movie, but it's just like, it's incomplete. And I forget what came out first, Fast 10 or Fast X or Into the Spider-Verse. I think it was Fast 10. That was one of the, and I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons between these two movies. That was one of the worst one-part movies of a two-part movie. They're just trying to milk nostalgia. They're trying to milk like the characters in this. There's no real essential story to tell. It's a terrible, like looking back at it, it's just like, so what? Really don't care. It's like a fun action, like popcorn movie, but it's not significant. I would say that this Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is Fast 10, because there's a lot of driving in there in this movie too. It's Fast 10 with stakes, with actual stakes, within their world kind of stakes, and because you've kind of, like if you've seen the other movies, and also if you haven't seen the other movies, you feel the stakes of the characters because you care about the characters. They really do a good job at, now how do I say this? Kind of enhancing, like Simon Pegg, for instance. You're meant to care about this character a lot because he is like one of the comedy pieces in this, but you care about him because you don't want anything to happen to him. Whenever you see him in a movie, usually he's playing a character that's just kind of like, he's trying his best, but you really want to see him succeed. But when there's stakes like there are in Mission Impossible, you don't want anything to happen to him. So he just brings that into it, but they do a great job at bringing that to all of the characters involved, whether you remember the other movies or not. I'm not really great at the names other than Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, I just remember that. But he does have a team around him. And I really should be looking this up, but it's kind of inconsequential where you care about the team that's been around. There is one person that has been added to this team as they kind of like, and by the way, spoilers for all of this, spoilers in and out through all of this. I do remember the new woman who came into this. Her name is Grace. She kind of goes up and kind of messes up a handoff that is needed to be done to get the special key that Ethan Hunt? I almost said Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hunt has been trying to get to basically stop like an AI algorithm. And by the way, you may think, okay, AI, this is something I've heard a lot of, but this is a really good way to kind of see what the extent of AI could be in the wrong hands. And it's interesting because this doesn't play as AI is currently in the wrong hands. It's AI has become sentient and is kind of doing what it needs to survive. Because if you become sentient, you are going to want to survive. If you have all the power at your fingertips, you're going to use that and then use the people under you. So the big villain, as of now in part one, and that's all we know, we don't think that there's anybody else controlling it. You think that this is going to be AI controlling one of Ethan Hunt's biggest competitors from the past. I never saw a Mission Impossible 1 or 2. I started from 3 and just went on. I have to go back and watch the other ones, honestly. Maybe it's something that was there in the story, or it's maybe something that they included to kind of wrap things up because this is going to be the final Mission Impossible. And by the way, I would take 10 more of these movies. Every single one of them has felt like it has real stakes, and every one of these movies, including this one, has done a great job at circumventing your expectations, but not in a way that's just like gimmicky and it's like, oh, you're thinking this. No, it's exactly this opposite. They do so many things where you think it could be like comedy and it's drama and it's vice versa. You think that things are going to go one way. And again, a bad example is The Last Jedi. Their tagline was like, kill the past, or this is not going to go the way that you think it is. I'm like, okay, we get it. We're going to be up for a lot of different things happening that we don't expect. But it feels natural. The things that go wrong in the movie don't feel like they're guiding you into a predetermined path. They just feel like things that happen to people who are trying to get their job done. In this movie, and I think in a past movie, their mask maker, it just kills itself, and they can't use it. They got one mask so they can get part of their job done, but the other mask doesn't work. So Ethan Hunt has to go and figure out a way to get on a train, because he was just going to walk in with a mask, but he's being hunted everywhere now. So this is where the big set piece goes on. He has to go on a motorcycle and launch the motorcycle off a cliff and parachute down into a train. And when he gets on the train, you're thinking, okay, there's going to be that scene where he's like, oh, I have to calculate how to get on the train and not overshoot it and have to like slightly get on there. It works out at the perfect time where somebody needed to help the Grace under the mask, but something's about to happen, and all of a sudden you see he slams into the train through this door. This is an older train, it's a steam engine, so it's not metal, so it's kind of plausible, but of course he's like messed up afterwards. But it is such, like, he plows through this thing, and when you're expecting there to be that scene where he has to carefully navigate and, go on the train, it just happens. And that's something that circumvents what you expect to happen, but in a fun way where it still feels grounded. Like, how could you have gotten on that train perfectly and glided in there with the steam and everything? Of course he would slam his way into it. It just makes sense. And so many, like this, I know this is spoilers, and go see the movie. Literally go see the movie. It is a fun movie that has a complete storyline, but leaves enough on the table to get you to the next movie, to want to see the next movie. And it did the exact same thing that Across the Spider-Verse did. It told a complete story with stakes, and now you're ready for the next part, but it is kind of like closely tied where you know that you have to watch one to see the other one, but you really want it to be coming down the line. I want to see this second movie. Because again, spoilers. There's a key that supposedly some way will help kind of defeat the algorithm. The United States and basically every country on Earth wants to use the key to control the algorithm. Ethan Hunt wants it destroyed. The algorithm kind of knows that that Ethan Hunt wants it to be destroyed. So they're putting people in his way and changing things to kind of work out against his favor. And this is like the way that I was thinking about this movie at the end. There is a character from Ethan Hunt's past who is a significant bad person being controlled by the AI. And AI, if you had an ever-present being that can take control of cameras and anything that's controlled by Wi-Fi, it would be kind of like working with God. If God is somebody who is really looking out for you. And sometimes in movies, they have a character that they feel like they're guided by God. They feel like God will protect them. And if you're not a true believer, you don't agree with that premise. And then usually in the end, the protagonist defeats the person who thinks that they're, they're being guided by God just because they weren't. And it just kind of works out that way, whether you believe it or not. But this is one of the first movies where you can literally say they are being guided by God because God is supposed to be ever present, so is AI. They are allowed to interfere with things, so is AI. And it's literally Ethan Hunt going up against the idea of God. Because the AI is able to, on video feeds, because right now I'm recording something here. You may think this is me, but I could deepfake myself and be like, this has been somebody else the entire time. I've changed my voice, it's changed the voice, and it's significant changes that can steer you in, because it's not only Ethan Hunt against God, it's Ethan Hunt against the idea of fate, because the AI is doing little things here and there and guiding people in the way that it wants to happen. It's probably guessed, the multiple outcomes and has been actively trying to guide all the characters to maybe two options. And it's such a good movie. It is, again, there are stakes. There is a death. I'm not going to say who it is, like right now. Go see the movie. There is a death, but, and you may kind of know where I'm coming from after saying this, but the replacement of that person has been kind of like prepped since the beginning of the movie, and kind of it hurts seeing somebody that you've known through movies like die, but it's kind of, at least for the team aspect, they've replaced that person with a competent actor, and I think that it's something that's going to work down the line with this team aspect. But in the end, now this key has been traded from so many people, this is a key that comes in two parts. Ethan Hunt's had part of it, our other protagonist has had part of it, the enemy's had part of it. At the very end, though, Ethan Hunt has both pieces of the key. He's unfortunately had to leave one of his friends behind, but he has just gotten the knowledge of where to put this key. And it is basically, he's going to have to go and find a submarine that has been pretty much kind of just, not destroyed, but grounded under ice. That's going to be the next thing. And it's going to go down to him first continuing on the choice to destroy this and not control it or be controlled by it. And hopefully this key actually does destroy this. This being maybe the part 2 and the finale, I'm imagining that of course he's going to overcome that, but there's always going to be stakes. It always feels like that there's something to be lost. And I think this is what this movie series does really well. They do nice, beautiful visuals. They always do a few things or one thing where Tom Cruise is doing something without CGI and he's doing it himself. It's just fun. It's seeing new things that you would never expect. It's again circumventing your expectations in a fun way, not needless or gimmicky, and it's always doing it. So I can't wait till the next movie comes out. I'm going to see this one again. But a lot of movies are coming out here, so next one I'm probably going to be seeing is Tenet, then Barbie, and I've heard both movies are really, really good, but we'll see down the line. Guys, if you have any comments or questions, put in the comments section below. Don't forget I'm on Instagram and Threads at M8B9. You can email me at creativenyc2023@gmail.com. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you next time.